Good morning. I would like to call to order today's meeting of the State of Nevada Board of Examiners for February 18th, 2020 at 9 a.m. Could I ask the clerk to take the roll, please? Thank you. We do have a quorum. The second item is public comment, item number 2. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item on today's agenda, items on our agenda today, please step forward, identify yourself for the record. We'll start in Las Vegas if you'd like. Public comment?
Yes, sir. We have some people here for public comment. They're coming up
Go ahead
now.
and sit there and, yep, and you can use this one on and off, that, there you go, just push,
Push.
push it? Nope,
We got, there you go, man.
thank you.
Governor, members of the Board of Examiners, for the record, my name is Joel Tasca, and I'm representing the National Coalition for Public School Options. I'm here today to clarify that item number 6 on your agenda to authorize a settlement of $16,051.15 for the Nevada State Public Charter School Authority. For the record, this is not a settlement. The amount at issue is actually a court-mandated payment to our coalition for attorney's fees related to a lawsuit filed in district court last year where the judge ruled that the Charter School Authority violated the Nevada Public Records Act. Since 2018, the coalition has been seeking public records related to communications between the Charter School Authority and the National Association of Charter School Authorizers, NACSA, an entity that seeks to influence state policy over charter school regulation and serves as a vendor to charter school authorities. We already have evidence that there has been inappropriate, some might say corrupt, relationships between the authority and NACSA, which the public records we seek will further confirm. The authority failed, indeed refused, to provide documents until a year and a half after the coalition's public records request in November 2019, when the court mandated that the authority comply. Even then, however, the authority failed and refused to provide the complete record of the communications that have been requested, and in a ruling last week, the court ordered the deposition of the authority to permit the coalition to explore why the authority is covering up this issue and hiding requested public records from view. Again, this item is not a settlement. It is a court-mandated payment for the authority's failure to comply with the law. Governor, we would welcome the opportunity to share with you and with your staff the malfeasance we believe has infested this public entity. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else in Las Vegas?
No, Governor.
Okay. Do we have anyone in Carson City wishing to speak under public comment? Nobody? All these people? Nobody wants to get up and talk? Okay. Cat got your tongue, right? Okay, nobody else up here. Item number 3, approval of the January 14th, 2020 minutes.
Mr. Governor, I move approval.
We have one technical adjustment on the minutes.
Susan? Director Brown?
There is an amount in one of the agenda items from the previous month that is incorrect that we'll be fixing before we post the final.
Okay.
Move approval per the projected correction.
Thank you very much. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing and seeing none. All in
Yes,
favor?
yes, wait a minute.
4, in the first paragraph, it says 500,000 miles, and I believe that number is closer to 100,000.
Okay, great, thank you, Governor, I just wanted to clarify,
Thank you.
and so I'll second it.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 4, state vehicle purchases.
There are 2 requests for 9 vehicles in this agenda item. The first item is from the Department of Agriculture Consumer Equitability Division for 1 new vehicle for $35,989. Funding for this vehicle is included in the agency's budget. The second item under this, the second request under this item is from the Department of Public Safety Division of Investigations for 8 replacement vehicles for a total of $241,673. The vehicles being replaced have met the age and or mileage requirements in SAM, and funding is included in the agency's budget. Representatives from these agencies are available to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions or comments on item number 4, state vehicle purchases?
None in Vegas.
Hearing and seeing none, do we have a motion on item number 4?
Move approval.
We have a motion
Second.
for approval. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing, seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Anybody opposed? Motion passes. Item number 5, authorization to contract with the current and/or former state employee.
So item 5 includes one request to contract with one former employee pursuant to NRS 333.705 subsection 1. This request is from the Department of Public Safety, Office of Traffic Safety, to contract with a former employee to provide quality assurance services for the Nevada Rider Motorcycle Program. Representatives from the agency are available to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions from board members in Las Vegas?
None in Vegas.
None in Las Vegas, none in Carson then. Do we have a motion on item number 5?
Move approval, Governor.
Second.
We have motion for approval. Any discussion? Hearing, seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 6, request to pay a cash settlement.
This item is a request from the State Public Charter School Authority for approval in the amount of $16,051.15 to fully resolve a petitioner's request for attorney's fees and costs pursuant to NRS 239.011 subsection 2. Representatives from the agency are available to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions?
Thank you. We are in receipt of the letter as of,
Could you identify yourself for the record, please?
certainly, Rebecca Fiden, for the record, Executive Director of the State Public Charter School Authority. Our General Counsel, Ryan Herrick, should be available in Carson City as well. We're in receipt of a letter dated January 14th that I was handed a copy of this morning. As stated in the gentleman's public comment, this is an order for payment, and we are prepared to make that order for payment. I'm glad to answer any questions related to the accusations in this letter.
Okay. Do we have any questions of the board members in Las Vegas?
Just real quickly, you agree, though, that this isn't a settlement per se. This is actually pursuant to a court order.
That is correct. In my memo to the governor's finance office, it was referenced, it was an order for payment for a total of approximately $16,000.
Thank you. That's all I have, Governor.
Thank you. If we could ask staff to correct the record and have it say payment as opposed to settlement, I would appreciate it. Any further questions in Las Vegas?
We have none.
Do we have a motion?
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing, seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item number 7, request for authorization to amend a current contract for a price increase.
This item is a request from the Department of Motor Vehicles License Plate Factory, which requests board approval to increase the price contained within the current approval. Representatives from the agency are available to answer any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions from the board members in Las Vegas?
I don't.
I do. This is Barbara Sagaski, Secretary of State. I just want to know what they're using the $1 million for, what the additional is. What it is. I've got information, but it wasn't enough for me on this issue.
Okay, they're coming to the table.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Governor. For the record, Sean McDonald, Division Administrator for the Central Services Records Division. The $1 million is actually a reserve that we keep in the account to start each individual fiscal year to make sure that we have enough appropriations to pay for aluminum. Obviously, with commodities trading, it's kind of expensive to go through those undertakings, as well as sheeting. I don't know if that answers the complete question, but generally speaking, we keep $1 million reserve. That reserve has actually been a little bit larger, and we are trying to chisel that down to meet that exact $1 million.
Okay, thank you, sir. It does help me, Governor. Thank you very much for allowing him to come up and clarify that on the record.
Thank you. Any further questions, Secretary?
Nope, that'll do it for me.
Okay, hearing, seeing none. Do we have a motion on item number 7?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing, seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Thanks for coming up. Appreciate it. Item number 8, approval of proposed leases.
There are 2 leases in agenda item 8 for approval by the board this morning. Do any of the members have any questions?
We don't here in Vegas.
We don't in Carson City either. So do I have a motion in Vegas?
Move approval.
We have a motion
Second.
We have a motion for approval. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing, seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And for those who are either present or watching, I want you to know that staff conducts very comprehensive briefings with each one of us to answer our questions ahead of time, so we cut down on the questions that we actually have when we convene the meeting. So thank you, Susan, for having your staff be so responsive and getting back to us with all of our answers. Item number 9.
Item number 9, there are 29 contracts in agenda item 9 for approval by the board this morning. I would note that on contract number 27, Department of Public Safety, Parole and Probation, and GEO Reentry, this needs to be revised to reflect the current expiration date, which is on the contract of December 31st, 2023, and also the amount on that needs to be changed to $4,332,200.72. And I believe this contract is being pulled. I don't know if there are any others that the board would
That
like
was
to call
number
out.
28, you said?
20
Questions on that one. So do we have a representative of GEO here?
For 27?
For
Yeah,
item
and I
number,
apologize, I'm showing it as 28.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
it
have people
changed.
here in Vegas. You want them to come up now? Do you want to?
yeah, we changed, because the,
Hold on.
Okay, I'll start with mine up here. Do we have a representative here from GEO? Could you come to the table, please?
We have someone here as well.
Okay, you want to bring them up to the table also?
Y'all come on up.
there's a line up in the chair.
Okay. No. Ma'am, I'm going to ask you the questions, okay? Okay. If you can identify yourself for the record, please. Okay, nope, you got to pull the microphone and turn it on. You push the little button where there's like a mouth with, there you
we
go.
go.
Okay,
Make it red.
Okay.
Rachel Kensler, Geo Reentry Services.
okay, and I've got numerous questions. I don't know who's going to be able to answer these. Can someone explain why this was pulled off the agenda last time and is back on? And that whatever issues there were resolved?
Do you want to let them do it or you want to do it?
Sue Sieber, Department of Public Safety, Parole and Probation, ASO. I believe the contract was pulled from the December BOE because of we needed to verify the dollar amount and the term of the contract.
Okay. Now that the technical issues have been resolved, can someone explain or clarify whether this contract provides any state resources or any programming towards ICE detention facilities or services?
I can answer that. I'm not sure if Chief Gardner wants to. It does not.
Okay.
We operate over 60 of these across the country. None of them do that.
Okay, do I have someone in Las Vegas that also wants to answer?
Yes, sir. This is Ann Carr, and probationers, that the division is unable to provide these services alone. And as Geo stated, they are there to strictly provide these services to the state of Nevada parolees and probationers. And I don't foresee any issues between the state, the division, or ICE detention facilities. And to clarify, the Day Reporting Center is not a detention center or a live-in facility.
Okay, okay. And if you could hold your comments, I'm asking specific questions. And if you've got an answer to a specific question, and it's more likely that they're for DPS and or purchasing, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, in 2019, I signed AB 183, which prohibited the state from using private prisons. Can you explain to me how this is not using a private prison? No, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
You keep looking there, but I'm
It's because
the
I
one
thought
answering
she
the
was, I
questions.
apologize.
Okay.
I thought she was going to answer that question.
Okay.
I thought that, and parole and probation was going to answer that question. This is not, day reporting centers are the antithesis of a secure private or public prison. They are a community-based program where the participants come in, they get the resources and tools they need to be successful, ideally to address their issues so that they don't run into issues of non-compliance and end up being incarcerated or being put into a facility, or for those that are returning from incarceration to help them reintegrate back into the community. It provides job skills, treatment, and programming. Then they go home. They live at their home, they go to work. The schedule of the facility is designed so that it accommodates their schedules. It's entirely designed to provide them support to be successful in the community.
Okay, how did, and maybe this is for purchasing, how did this company get selected? You're gonna have to share the microphones now, so.
Good morning, Governor, General Ford, Secretary of State Sagaski. I am Kevin Doty, Administrator for State Purchasing. This is a pretty routine procurement. The RFP specifications come from the agency, and those are included with our standard terms that are approved by the Attorney General's office. We approve an evaluation committee that then takes in the proposals that are received in response to the RFP. The evaluation committee goes through those, scores those, and those scores are used to rank the vendors. In this case, Geo Reentry was the #1 scoring vendor.
Okay, how many companies do this service?
3 responded to our RFP.
Okay. Can someone answer the question of specifically what you're providing that the state can't provide, that we're not providing at the state level? Is it expediting it? Is it getting through more people? What is it doing?
That's a question for the agency to answer, what specifically they're getting from this contract.
Hi, Ann Carpenter. So the purpose of the Dairy Reporting Center is to change the behavior of this population. And so the division does not have the skills or resources or expertise to facilitate and organize all of our community partners to be able to provide specific training such as cognitive behavioral treatment, substance abuse counseling, life skills, that kind of thing. And so the basic premise is we want to change behavior, correct criminal thinking, and reduce recidivism. And this partner helps us do that.
Okay, what is the scope or the volume? We're talking $4 million, so what?
Can the ASO answer that? In Carson?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
The scope of the work, the volume of the people or whatnot, it's a $4 million contract.
So what the vendor will provide is the participants that are identified by our parole and probation officers that need this service. They will provide the counseling and go through and maybe you can explain better, Rachel, as far as what they're going to provide. But as we identify the participants that's needing this program and the extra help to keep them from re-entering back into the prison system, we refer them to the vendor to help identify the needs that they need.
Okay, how many people is it that we're talking about?
If I may, it's an average daily population, so an average number of folks that will be coming into the program. It's set up to equip up to 200 at any given day in Las Vegas and 50 in Reno. And that's consistent with what's been available since the DRC's inception in 2017.
Okay. What about existing reentry programs that exist in the community? Can they not handle this?
It's a little different model. We've been doing this for more than 20 years, and as I mentioned, we have over 65 of them, so we've got a lot of experience doing this. We typically will partner with other agencies that specialize in particular areas, such as employment or working with seriously mentally ill populations or domestic violence treatment. And then we are providing the assessment-driven, evidence-based programming to address their highest criminogenic risk factors, those things that are most likely to predict they would go back, and help them to address those, and then we would pull in any other community partners to do that as well.
What's the alternative if we don't approve the contract?
I can't, I'm not sure that I'm the person to answer that.
No, and if you could wait just a second, who can answer that question?
I can, sir. Ann Carpenter for the record. The alternative, if we don't do this, the division wants to be progressive. We want to be on the cutting edge. We should be heading into this direction because it's in line with best practices. It's proven to reduce recidivism and help keep people from returning to jail or prison. UNLV has given us a research and brief to talk about the successes. We're also working with Dr. Bill Souza and Dr. Emily Salisbury from UNLV. Are successful, it just helps people get out of prison. It doesn't help them solve their issues. And so that's why the Dairy Reporting Center is so important.
Okay. Obviously, I'm sure you know that criminal justice reform is one of my top priorities. It was at the legislature. We made progress in that area, but we haven't gotten as far as we want to go. How does this vendor and this service fit into that mission?
Ann Carpenter for the record. It helps because the services that they provide to these parolees and probationers add extra structure that they often don't get with regular supervision. This extra attention has proven successful in other states such as Georgia, and it can help keep this population from returning to prison because they give that extra oomph. It's like a holding hands and giving them a little bit more than regular supervision can provide. With reentry, when people are coming out of prison, we can provide clothing, linens, toiletries that they don't have when they come out. And this type of program, we feel like is the intersection of people getting released and people going back. And we don't want them to return to prison. And that's why it's so important that we provide these resources and support to them.
I had comparable questions of, but the last answer sells me on this notion of advancing criminal justice reform. The governor's indicated that obviously it's a focus of his. It's been a focus of mine since I was in the legislature, and so I'm proud to support this. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Secretary Sagaski.
No, thank you both for your questions, and thank you, staff, for the statements. Appreciate it.
Do we have, that completes my questions on item 27. Thank you. Do we have questions on any of the other contract summary items?
Yes, I do on 12 and 29.
Let's do 12 first. Okay.
Okay, 12 is the Department of Taxation. And on this one, because of the security concerns, I'd like to set up a meeting with somebody from taxation to ask more questions. Please?
Absolutely. Do we have,
No, I'll set up a meeting. I know the security is an issue, so that's fine. And then we'll go to 29.
okay? Let's do 29.
And 29, my questions are, Governor, in the Grant Sawyer building is where I particularly have the issue, because that's why we moved to another building, as everyone knows. What I want to know is if we are taking any samples out of the walls in 5, on the 5th floor in the old office. I don't think anybody's done anything in that respect. I don't know about the carpet, what the situation is of that right now, but I do know that.
We have a representative coming to the table. For those who aren't aware, my offices are on the 5th floor, where Secretary Sagaski said.
For the record, Jess Langford, Chief Administrative Officer out of OSHA. I am not familiar whether we have an active OSHA investigation at the moment in this building. I'll check when I go back to my offices to see if there's something active based upon employee complaint or referral. As far as what the maintenance of the building, Nevada OSHA and Mines and Safety doing certain kinds of sampling in working conditions throughout the state.
Okay. I would just like to put it on the record that that is something that I think needs to be included in that building. If you're leasing, renting, whatever you're doing for any other people that are in there, and I can talk privately with you why I think that's an issue. So just for the record, I just wanted to put it on there that I think it's very important that the inside of the walls are tested.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. Personally, my staff appreciates that as well, that you're watching out for us. If we could have our staff contact Secretary Sagaski and get her suggestions and follow up on those, I'd appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you, Governor.
If I may, I just, with all due respect, would like to put for the record as well that we have had, relative to issues that have been raised in the past in this building, subsequent testing and things have been cleared relative to the appropriateness of being in this building. And I think it's important also to state from a liability perspective that people in this building are presumed to be safe based on the last testing that we've done, including me on the 3rd floor in this building with 200 people of my staff. So I just kind of wanted to mention that out loud. Thank you.
I appreciate it. That sounds like a lawyer talking. I appreciate that.
That's exactly what it was, actually.
It's your job, and you're doing it well. We appreciate you. Any further questions? Okay, if I could ask the maker of the motion on item number 27, I would like to make that contract.
You
Public
guys.
safety?
And they're nodding their head yes here, sir.
They're what?
They're nodding yes. They're saying it's okay.
Okay.
2 years.
So, go ahead.
So changing the expiration date on that for 2 years would change the contract amount to $1,881,535.48.
Okay, any questions on that change?
Just want to know how you're going to spend the 48 cents.
No questions here. Thank you.
Do I have a motion on item number 9?
Move approval, per the discussion and changes.
Yes, along with
Okay.
the suggestions, I agree.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing, seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 10, approval of proposed master service agreements.
There are 10 master service agreements in agenda item 10 for today for approval by the board this morning. Are there any questions on any of these items?
I do not have any questions on any of the 10 items. Do you have any questions in Las Vegas?
None here.
Okay, do I have a motion on item number 10?
Move approval.
We have a motion for approval on item number 10.
Second?
Okay, any comments? Hearing, seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Item number 11 is an information item. Clerk of the Board contracts.
There are 20 contracts under the $50,000 threshold that were approved by the clerk between December 24th, 2019 and January 17th, 2020. This item is informational only. Are there any questions on any of these items?
Do we have any questions, Secretary or General Ford?
I don't, but I think Secretary Zagowski is double checking.
Okay,
I think we forgot to go back to 12, didn't we? Which is now 13. Yeah, I said there were 2 I had, and we only went to the OSHA one. But I didn't get to talk on contract. It's either 12 or 13 because it changed.
So on the
Okay.
information, you have any questions?
that was what I thought you needed information from.
Yeah, I'll stick with that. I was going to put something else on the record, but I'll stick with that.
Okay. Do we have any questions on item number 11? Clerk contracts?
None.
We have none. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the agenda item number 12, public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item, please step forward, identify yourself for the records, and comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Let me start in Las Vegas.
No one's here for a public comment.
Carson City. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item, please step forward, identify yourself for the record. Nobody? Boy, I got a big group up here and nobody's getting up. Okay, hearing and seeing none, we'll move on from public comment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you all for being here.
Thanks, Gov.